I'll be bringing the same band that I've been working with for the past 2 years, about 2 or 3 years.
You'll be at Earl's Court, which is where you were last time.
Right.
Were you surprised last time by the friendly response?
It's sometimes the response is less than friendly, and sometimes it's friendly, but over the years you just kind of get used to any kind of response.
I know that recently in the States you've been performing a lot of your inspirational material. Will you be doing that in London?
I'll be doing some of it. Most of the stuff comes from all the albums, and then we just finished an album, so we'll be including some new songs too. The name of the new album is Shout of Love.
Does that continue in the inspirational vein?
Well, you kind of have to decide that for yourself. It's different than the last. It's different than Saved, and it's different than Slow Train. And, well, it sounds old, but it's new.
Does it feature any of your recent players like Barry Beckett?
No, I didn't do this one down in Muscle Shoals. We did it in California. So Barry's not on this one. This is just my usual band. Actually, Ronnie Wood played on one song. So did Ringo.
I received some very exciting mail on the last couple of albums because some people who shared your sense of what might be called ministry or message were very excited that you were with them on it, and other people had thought, well, what is Bob doing now?
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it takes the old albums don't really mean something to some people until they hear the new one. And in retrospect, they can go back and hear something else from the past, and it'll seem like it takes the steps that leads up to the new one. I think this new album we did is for me, I think the most explosive album I've ever done. Even going back to Blonde on Blonde or Freewheeling or any of those, Bring It All Back Home or Highway 61 or wherever they were. I think this one is, for its time right now, will be perceived in the same way. I mean, I may be totally wrong in saying that, but I feel that same way about this album as I did about when we recorded Bring It All Back Home. It was like a breakthrough point. It's the kind of music I've been striving to make, and I believe that in time people will see that. It's hard to explain it. It's that indefinable thing, that people can write about, but you can only write about it and around it. You can't really take charge over it because it is what it is. You can't really expound on it. It itself is the beginning and the end of what it is.
In Blood on the Tracks, which was another of my favorite albums, you were speaking right from the heart. Is that the kind of feeling you have lyrically on this album?
Well, no, that was a different sort of thing. That was a breakthrough album for me, too, in another sense of lyrics. I'd done things I'd never done before. This is just a different sort of thing. It's like the thing I've always wanted to do. And for one reason or another, I was always been bound in certain areas where I didn't have the right structure around it, or some kind of thing to make it come off in a way. Because mainly, I don't do that much talking. So when I'm playing, you have to be able to communicate with the people around you in order to get your point of view across. And if you have to do too much of that communication, it gets confusing, and something is lost along the way. And this time that didn't happen. Everybody's pretty much together.
Do you feel then that you now have accomplished what you want to as an artist? Or?
I think so. I think the next album I do, I don't have to do no more. I think I can do an instrumental album now.
You think so?
Yeah. I've come as far as there is to come, and now I'm going to start just doing instrumentals.
Are you finding at the moment inspiration from any other artists, as I think you probably found from Dire Straits a couple of years ago?
Oh, yeah. I just spoke with Mark recently. I was like Gordon Lightfoot.
Recently here, Bruce Springsteen's gone down very well. Do you like him?
Yeah. Bruce is a very, very talented guy.
Did you know that Bruce has included This Land Is Your Land in his concert program?
Oh, he has?
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. That's good. Well, maybe he'll start doing Blowing in the Wind. Maybe he'll do an album of Bob Dylan songs.
Well, funnily enough, I heard on the radio recently Manfred Mann's version of With God on Our Side.
Yeah.
And I thought that in this current atmosphere where there's so much talk about nuclear disarmament and the talks, missile talks, particularly in Europe, where it's a great concern at the moment, that these songs of yours from the early albums about the nuclear disarmament situation take on a new timeliness. Do you ever think about that?
No, not really, but it doesn't surprise me. I thought they were timely then, and just as sure they're timely now.